On this episode of Mega Real Estate Talk, we have a guest today, Chris Haskins with Journey Real Estate, powered by EXP. He's been listening to our podcast. He wants to spit some facts about some of our topics. We're going to get some feedback from him, talk a little bit about his business. Let's go.
You're listening to Mega Real Estate Talk with Jared Davis and Galen Parker, your source for an honest, insightful look into Central Virginia's real estate market. Combined, Jared and Galen have over 20 years sales experience, as well as hundreds of testimonials from clients past and present who rely on them for advice and assistance when buying and selling homes in today's incredibly hot and competitive real estate market. And now, your hosts, Jared Davis and Galen Parker.
I am Jared Davis.
And I am still Galen Parker.
And today we have a special guest with us. It's been a while since we've had a guest.
I'm so excited. Ladies and gentlemen, the legend himself, the leader of Journey Real Estate, been in the business. He's been owning rentals since 2002, licensed agent since 2019. He is the Gold Award-winning agent his first year in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Haskins. Talk to the people, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris, we're happy to have you on here because obviously you trail back with us since the days of RE/MAX. We've been contractually obligated to not mention their name, but we're going to say it anyway. RE/MAX, the brokerage. That you were with us back then, back in the dark, dingy office. Then you went out on your own. After RE/MAX, where did you go?
Wow. So after I left you guys, because I did leave you, right?
You did for a bit.
You know,
You saw the light.
Missed you for a little bit. You know, I did leave you guys.
Hard.
But I went to my cousin, which is a broker. You know, she kind of held my hand a little bit.
Cool.
She had more patience with it.
I wasn't trying to hold hands.
Yeah, she held my
I'm just
hand,
kidding. I helped you out. I helped you through
You
the
know,
start.
you helped me. You helped me. You helped me. But my cousin, you know, his family, she's like, hey, I support you if you're with Jared or wherever. And I'm like, hey, well, they're going to this place called EXP. I don't know what this EXP is. I don't want to go there. I'm going to go to my cousin, a boutique brokerage. She helped me out a lot. And,
Yeah.
my sales and all that good stuff. She was picking out contracts, so that's why I got my knowledge. But then the only reason I kind of wanted to, hey, Jared, I need a team. I want a team. Hey, let me talk to you. So
Yeah, so you've been building the team out for, what, a year now almost, right?
yeah, it just hit a year.
So how many agents now?
I have 3.
3 agents.
Very good.
How many
Very
agents? How many agents do you want?
I don't know. Man, that's a good question. Sometimes I'm thinking 10, but at the same token, is, you know, I have to really be organized and make sure I support the team and be the leader.
Yeah, it's a different job, isn't it?
Yeah,
you start to realize being a team leader. We got some episodes on that, right? Building a team versus staying a solo agent, because everybody thinks they get busy as a solo agent. They just hire a couple agents and it all works out, and then they realize, oh God, I've got to provide systems and marketing and training and software and leads and
systems.
So I think one of the cool things about Chris is that, you know, he's not new to the business. I mean, so how many rentals? I know you started in 2002 with like your rental portfolio, but how many rentals have you had so far?
I had as many as 11 when the market crashed.
Okay.
I sold some, foreclosed.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I like about my business, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
You know, everything. I've been through a lot.
But you flipped too. That's how, I mean, I've known Chris since I was a kid pretty much, but I mean, that's essentially what he was doing stuff before I ever got a license, but then I started helping selling his flips before he got a license.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember, you selling houses in Petersburg and going down and buying houses
and
when
I'm
they were
still
like,
flipping. You know, still finding stuff to flip. I like it. The rentals, I kind of want to shift a little bit. I want to do like a little short term and not just the typical rentals, but I still have
like an Airbnb type of deal, or
something like that. You know,
we wanted to. I think you had reached out to us because you saw one of Jared's reels that Jared made a statement, and Chris was like, "I'm not having it. I don't believe it. I don't agree with it." And it was kind of funny that you were so passionate about it that we were like, we've got to get Chris on the show so that he can talk about this. But Jared, in one of the most recent reels, if you guys are following Jared at the _ the Davis group, there's a reel that's very popular that says the BRRRR Method is dead. And Chris was like, dead? What do you mean by that? So why do you have a problem with that statement?
Should we deep dive music before he answers? We always deep dive, you know. I guess we're deep diving now.
All right,
right. We're just kind of going in. Give us our intro, and then let him break it down. There it is. Okay, I like it. Like Rocky music.
Eminem.
Is that what it is? Is that what you're going for? Okay.
An orchestra Eminem.
Well, if it's on me,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know, what people don't understand about Jared and I relationship, there's a lot of things I'm like, Jared, no, that doesn't make sense. No, Jared, what are you doing? So, you know, Galen's pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, that's generally the consensus people give. They're like, I got a certain feeling about Jared.
That's why
or a certain
Galen's-
then they're like, but Galen has no problems at all. And I'm like, really?
That's why Galen's my right hand. I got to have a likable person on the team.
You are likable.
And we was on the team together, Galen. You know, I was compete against you. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to see who sell the most homes. But
And
you
then
know,
we immediately left.
yeah,
for
then we left,
Max.
right, yeah. But you know, I heard Jared talking about the BRRRR Method, and I was doing the BRRRR Method before it was.
Before I was born.
I knew you were going to say that.
You was a kid, that's for sure.
okay.
I mean, you know,
Okay.
maybe teenager.
Okay.
That's maybe, but you know, jumping off the diving board at the lake, you know.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But you know, with the BRRRR Method, before that acronym even came, I never even heard of the BRRRR Method, but I was doing it
Yeah.
back in, you know, the early 2000s. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when I heard you say, I'm like, what the? This man is dead. Dude,
How often do you use the BRRRR method, I would guess?
oh my goodness. I mean, I used it several times.
Okay. And what do you like about it?
I mean, it got me to what I needed, where I needed to be. You know, I had several homes. I pretty much, it was a cookie cut. Bought it, you know, rehab, refinance, rent it out.
So you think it's still good with interest rates at 6.5?
Yes.
How are you looking for BRRRRs? Are you trying to BRRRR? You got anything right now you're holding?
Yeah, I got a couple of things I'm holding.
Okay.
I'm debating if I want to flip it because, you know, I'm just got the itch of flips. But,
Yep.
But I tell any investor, most people are like, hey, we want to get into flips. I'm like, man, the nice thing is really to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Real estate and hold on. So when you was talking about the BRRRR Method, I'm like, man, I made a living off of that. I mean, that's what gave me the money to do my barbershop.
Yeah.
It, you know, it helped me out a lot.
So what are you looking for now? Because, you know, my claim is with interest rates the way they are, the numbers are just tough to make it work. So how are you making the BRRRR Method work right now with the market doing what it's doing with interest rates and pricing?
As long as the numbers are right. I
Okay.
mean, it's the point of, you don't make a whole lot of money a month anyway.
Yeah, so what are you
Most
shooting for?
rentals.
What are you trying to shoot for on a rental? What do you think?
Man, I tell you, if it covers everything that I need as far as
Okay.
payments and everything.
So you're okay with breaking even on it if you got
I
no
wanna-
money in it?
Yeah, but I want to break, you know, at least $200.
Got it.
Something,
Okay.
something over. But the same token is not about now.
Yep.
You know, if I buy it and refinance, if I, you know, made $5,000, that's great.
Yeah.
And then if I got it, you know, one thing I'm a firm believer in is equity continues to grow. Now, don't forget, I had like 11 homes when the market crashed in 07,
Yeah.
including I just bought my home. So I know how that feels. So when people's like, oh, the market may crash.
That's the one you're still in.
Yeah.
The one you
I'm
live
still
in. Yeah.
I mean, so what the market crash? Guess what? It's coming back up.
Yeah, I agree. So my argument to the people out there was that we should start looking for assumptions, right? Subject to's bark, buy, assume, rent, keep. Because I think that with interest rates the way they are, I think right now if we can find loans where people have a 3 to 3.5% interest rate, and we can go in and just assume those loans, not only can we buy houses with no money down, but we can pick up their interest rate at, you know, half of what it is right this second. And I think if we can get that done through this market, we're going to have rentals that cash flow way better than a BRRRR right this second. I guess there's got to be some kind of downside, though. So, I mean, what can you do that I can't do if I'm going to bark while you're going to BRRRR?
I mean, that strategy is nice. If you find somebody to assume a loan, nowadays people don't trust people.
Okay.
They just want to be done with it. You know, give me my money and let me go.
Got it. Okay.
I just ran into a situation where
So you think the timing of assuming the loan, it could take 60 days. You think people are like, I want my 2 weeks.
yeah, subject to when you still
Yeah.
keeping that person's name in the on the
Yeah, I mean,
title.
I think more assumptions are the route I want to go, but I could see that, right? You assume for 60 days, so
Yeah.
maybe they're like, no, I could buy you out quicker, and I don't need to assume.
Yeah, it
so
was-
maybe you beat me out on an offer if you're buying versus me assuming.
Yes, it was one deal. A buddy of mine, he was trying to get in the house foreclosed because he didn't trust anybody. And
Gotcha.
he trusted him. I was like, hey, hurry him, get him the money. Hurry up, get it. to
Yeah.
him. But It ended up foreclosing before he had a chance to give him the money. But
Okay.
my thing is, most of the time, people just want to wash their hands and be done with it.
Okay.
And if the rates, I mean, I was buying homes when the rates were 8% anyway.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? I'm used to that.
So you're used to that. Okay.
Yeah, 8%. I mean, man, that was majority of the house I had.
I'll help you on your debate side, even though you should be coming up with this. I should be fighting him on this right now, guys. But I'm gonna give you another one. Not all loans are assumable.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the flip side is you may be able to pick up a BRRRR that I can't on a BARC because maybe it was a conventional loan.
Yep.
Maybe it's something that can't be assumed. The other thing, give them another ring, would be the equity, right? Because if they only owe 100 grand and I would buy it for 160, I got to float that difference with the 160 hypothetically, right? If I assume, so then I'm holding that 60,000 out. I'm gonna have to go refinance anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm looking for is the people that have just bought in the last couple years and they don't have tons of equity.
Yeah.
Whereas you probably will have more opportunity because you can buy however long back as long as it's distressed.
Yeah, it was just when I saw the video, I'm looking at the video, I'm like, what is Jared talking about? I mean, this BRRRR method, that's I made a living off
Because what are some of the, I guess, the interest rates constraints or things that you're looking for when you're trying to assume?
Well, so right now you figure at 6.5%. I think rule of thumb, you're probably looking at about $750 per $100,000 that you loan out right this second. Versus at 3%, you're probably like $550 to $600. So on a $200,000 house, that's $400 an extra mortgage, $300 to $400. So Chris just said he's trying to make $200.
At least, I mean, you know, if I can make 500.
No, but you'd also take zero. You'd be okay with zero.
Depends on the deal.
But the
Depends on the
difference
deal.
is on his BARC at 200, the same BRRRR would be 500 to 600 in profit, or his break even at zero is my 400 in profit, which is the difference between a do nothing deal where I make no dollars or $4,800 a year that I could make on that difference and split. So I think that's the benefit right this second, if we can assume some of these things, is the fact that that payment, you're essentially taking the payment from before the market went crazy with rates, but then you're getting the rent from the post craziness, which is right now because rents went up 18% last year. So you're still getting that high rent. But yeah, finding's harder. I think.
Yes, finding is the hard part. But you can't go wrong with the BRRRR method, I feel.
But finding is the hardest part across the board, right? I mean, no matter what you're trying to do.
Because you're wanting someone who has, one, a low interest rate that he's gotten in the past 2 or 3 years, but then also is in a position where they have to like move on.
Where they're
from the
being
property.
distressed. They would have to lose their job. They would have to be like, oh man, I overpaid for this at the time.
Yeah.
Whatever it may
So that
be.
every time you have one of those caveats, you're shrinking down your pool of people that you can kind of like access through. Whereas with the I guess like the BRRRR method, you don't have that.
Yeah. You know what I think about those? Like I was selling through 2013 and 14. So it was after the crash. But what I realized is that for a solid 8 years after the crash, I'd say 4 out of 6 listing appointments I went on, people were underwater in their houses. So you'd have to talk to them about the fact that, yeah, we're going to help you sell, but you may need to write a check to be able to get out, or you may break even. I don't think we're going to crash, but I think because the appreciation is slowing, if we go down 4 to 5% this year and then we only come back to a 2 to 3% appreciation after that, for these guys that paid 30, 40, 50,000 over on a house, maybe they put the cash outlay, maybe they even paid over appraised value, right? Because they had those contingencies where they're like, we'll pay a $20,000 differential in appraisal, and then they had to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they put minimum down payment down, they paid over, and now they're like, man, if I sell this and I have to pay 6% to a realtor and pay my closing costs, that's where I think your sweet spot's going to be. And while I don't think the deals are going to be, you know, abundant like in 2008 when there was 12,000 houses on the market, I think if we can figure out a way to find them, I think they will be some of the sweetest deals in the next couple years.
So good. So it's kind of like an interesting, like, I think obviously both methods work. Chris is obviously hard for the BRRRR.
He's what?
He's hard for it. Grow up, listeners. All right, this is an adult chat time. One of the other things.
I mean, what did you mean?
He's hard supported of it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
He's not aroused, Jared.
I've never heard that term used.
You never seen someone's like hard up for something?
I mean,
that they weren't talking about
means
sex?
Like he needs cash. Like he's hard up.
They could
on
be
it.
hard for a topic. It doesn't have to be sex.
Like hard up means like things
no,
are
hard up
bad,
means
right?
you need something. Being hard for a topic.
Chris, let's debate this for Galen.
All right,
What does hard up mean?
Let's go.
Hard up if you're hard up on
No, that
something.
hard up is that. I said he's hard for.
You see, I'm quiet, right?
I want to hear something.
Chris is like, I haven't been hard in years. I know. So, being hard for a topic
gonna be
means
some-
that you defend it to a degree that is.
We're gonna have some good marketing reels on this one.
No, we won't. This is terrible.
I'm
So
gonna get the questions. What are y'all talking about?
Chris is like, I wasn't even there. He's like, I didn't show up there. The other thing that we were talking about, Chris, that you said you were kind of moving us past this, that Jared obviously, and I obviously support that as the idea of like growing the team quickly, getting people in, weeding men. And you were mentioning, you're like, that's not something that you want to do. That's not necessarily your goal. What do you think is the fallacy of growing a large team quickly?
I mean, you know, to each his own. I thought I'm one time won a large team.
Okay.
But I'm kind of slowing down to it, you know.
Why?
Man, I like seeing people grow and having that personal attention. If I get too big, too large, I don't feel like it's going to be personal anymore. But,
Okay.
you know, you have a mega team, right?
Yeah, 20 plus.
Huh?
20 plus agents now. 23, 24.
I don't know if I want 20.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm just saying.
What do you think that you could do, I guess, with a smaller team that Jared can't do, or with a larger team? To explain that to the listeners, because they're probably trying to think, well, why? What they're pulling for answers. Well, why do they?
Well, you know, fortunately, Jared has you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Help a
true.
little bit, you know.
Oh, thank
maybe,
God.
Maybe if I had someone to help a little bit.
Okay.
You know, when I was in real estate school, they said be careful of a busy broker. So you gotta
Very
be,
true.
You gotta
Very
be
true.
you gotta be careful of a busy team leader too.
I agree.
Okay.
You know, if you can't help me, and if I can't call and talk to you when I get my first deal, or
Yeah.
or if I switch from whatever brokerage to join your team, and I'm looking like, man, dude, I thought you was gonna help me.
Yeah.
You know, so I take that personal. I want to kind of help my team on that level. Now, who to say 5 years from now, if I have 20 people on my team, we need to do another show because I have a different perspective.
Well, I'll have 40 or
You know?
50 at that point, so we'll talk
I mean,
about
think
that.
about it this way: like by that time, you could have added someone onto your team that helps you mitigate something. Because I mean, that people have that same, I guess, complaint with any team, even with our team. People have said, "Oh, Jared is so busy, we can't reach Jared."
Yeah.
And to mitigate that, we've created huddles, we've created chat, functions that we use that we can reach out to people so that they don't have to reach out to the team leader for every single
so why
question.
we didn't do that when I was on the team?
Oh, you left too quickly.
You did leave very quickly. You left at the infancy.
Chris was there for 10 minutes.
You left- you
then his
left-
cousin came.
You left when Remax was trying to teach us how to build a team, which did not do much of any good whatsoever. Once we got real systems and everything else, we're like, this is how this works. Okay.
But at the same token, obviously, if you have a smaller team, you're right. You can spend more quality time with an agent, develop. Have you seen that working out with, you've got 3 agents right now. Have you seen successes with your, the way you kind of nurture them?
Well, I pride myself on being available.
Okay.
I mean, if they call me, I'm there. I can be on vacation. I'm physically, if I can answer the phone, I'm like, hey, because I know how it feels.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, if you get into any type of situation. But one thing about real estate, if something has happened at 7, 8 o'clock at night, it usually can wait till the morning.
Most of the time.
For the most part.
Other than maybe writing an offer that's like due
Yeah.
late or something. But my
I
dad.
don't even like writing offers late anymore.
Yeah. That's when I write all my
It's
offers.
something just, I don't know. It seems like something goes wrong.
I'm
every
working. I'm
time.
too busy during the day to write offers during
So
the day.
my thought, I guess, and Jared could probably answer this. It's like, if you're there for your 3 agents nonstop around the clock, and Jared, you've been there, what's the downside of that?
Well, so that's why I do like the big team. And I think it really starts taking traction after about 13 to 15 people. I think with anything less than 10, you have a hard time getting a room of people on the team because their schedules are so different and conflicting. Maybe some of them are working other jobs. Maybe some of them are part-timers. Some of them are new. Some of them are experienced. Maybe they don't mesh because you can get 2 or 3 in a room at the same time and they don't really become friends. After that 13, 14, 15 plus, what I've found is that they start working together. You go to the office, you see 2 or 3 of them that are just there filming reels together, or they're role playing together, they're making calls together, and like they didn't even tell me that they were doing that, which is great, right? So whereas when I had 5 people, every single thing is pretty much we're here because of Jared. don't get me wrong. If people are on my team, they're still here because of my vision, right? Not because of me. I think people don't buy into leaders, they buy into vision. So I think most people that are on our team believe in our vision, and that's why they're here. But they have other people, the team chat, to be able to go in and ask a question and it gets answered without bugging me. So most of my agents know at this point, hey, you need to ask the team chat before you call me.
Yeah.
If you call me first, like I may miss it. And if it's a simple question, you probably could have gotten your answer in the team chat. Same thing with walkthroughs. I'm really good about, like, I could be drinking mimosas on a Sunday, and if one of my agents is like, can someone show a house for me? Like, I will still put down my mimosa and go help out. I don't know many team leaders that will do that across the board, especially at my size. But it's nice to know that there's also another 3 or 4 or 5 people that will probably also go help, and then that takes it off of me. Also, if I'm training 5 at one time, I know that one's just going to fail completely, one's not going to be happy, one's going to be a success, and 2 are going to be like average. Yeah. And so if I can do all of that at one time versus taking one and spending 50 hours training them, and then they still aren't a success, or they still don't listen and they leave, or that, you know what I mean, then that's the other benefit to me. And that's why, I mean, at 23 agents, 25, we still want 40. I want 15 more when it's said and done.
Now, more power to you.
Jared said that people buy into vision and not leadership. Because you see that with like a smaller team.
I mean, you know, yeah.
Okay.
Still the same thing.
So you're 3 people. They're not buying into you. They're buying into the journey, pun intended.
Yeah, I feel that's the case.
Okay.
You know, because I talk to them all the time. One of the things I tell them all the time, too, is not like I'm trying to keep you on my team forever. I want you to grow. I want you to, hey, you don't even have to be on my team tomorrow if you're telling me I want to be an agent. But my goal is, if they're struggling, or let me help you. Let me just tell you everything I know. That's one of the things I like about teams. You know, you're not by yourself.
Yep.
And some people need to be in a team. I kind of figure like, I didn't want to be in a team, which is fine. But I get the reason why to join.
A lot of people need it, though.
They need it, yeah.
I mean, I would venture to say that maybe you can disagree with me, but I bet you 70% of agents should be on a team.
At least starting out, you think?
I think starting, maybe.
I mean, I think 90% of agents starting should be on a team. I think 70% of just agents should be on a team. Think about it, we have 7,500 just in Central Virginia. 3,500 didn't sell a house last week.
Have you ever been on a team?
I'm the 10%.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, I actually take that back. That was like just me trying to be cocky for a second. But in reality, no, I should have started on a team, because think about it. It took me
how long did it take you to line the first deal?
7 months to close a house, and I'm a guy that can self-produce 100+ deals a year. So like most people would say like, yeah, he's kind of like up here in the industry. It's a team. We're up here in the industry. But as a solo agent, right, it took me 7 months to close a deal out. Like I had 2 fall apart on me in my first 4 or 5 months, right? By 7 months, I mean, heck, a couple more months, I may have just gotten out of the business and never turned into what I turned into. Versus most of our team agents are selling a deal the first month or 2, and most of them don't have sales experience. They lack intense knowledge that I had when I started, because I came from another sales job. I was used to cranking sales calls, right? So if I had joined a team, I may have learned quicker. I may have learned how the team was built out quicker.
Yeah.
Maybe the team wouldn't have been so, hit or miss in the first year or 2.
I know y'all joking, so I was there for a brief second, but I learned. It was at least 6 months.
I was like so excited to have Chris on the team, because it's like, I met you when I was a little kid too. I mean, I was older than Jared, but I mean, you played basketball with my brother and stuff. So it was just kind of like, the days of Aaron Weaver and all those guys like playing ball. So I was just like, oh man, so this is gonna be cool. Like we had Mike Henry was on the team at one point, and like the illustrious like the man of international mystery, Mike Henry, before he did his walkabout in Mexico. So I was like, when we had that, the sabbatical, when we had us 4, I thought I was like, this is gonna be a dope team. And then like Elmer came along, and then it all just like.
How do you feel now?
Then Clayton came along and ruined everything. No, it's still we still got Elmer. We got Chris back. Mike is still on the sabbatical walkabout, so we may or may not ever.
Got a bunch of. We got Francis, we got Brandon, we got Quincy.
So
we got
very good. So
speaking
of that, Chris, I want to give you an opportunity. Chris is a really good hype man, and I know you said you've got people on your team. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of hype them up and just talk a little bit about some of the successes that your team. Man. I mean, shout them out so that they're going to see this. They're going to hear this.
Hopefully share this.
Yeah, they're going to share this. So tell us about them and their goals. Who do you got?
The first person I got was Tracy. Tracy Jones, and she kind of came over from a different brokerage and needing a little support. some, get some support. That's the biggest thing. I'm like, come on over. I'm excited to help you out. So she did very well the first year, and I mean, I'm happy to have her on the team. Kiara is a fireball.
If you guys are not familiar, I'm gonna as you're talking, I'm gonna see if I can pull up Kiara's
Kiara,
TikTok,
she's a fireball. What I like about Kiara, we talked, and she talked to different people before she even came with me, and I was like, look, just use some of the same energy, and we were having a team meeting one time, right? And she's like, I quit my job. I'm like, oh, goodness, you quit your job. This is getting serious.
Hey, no, don't do that.
You need to say, oh, my goodness, And she's like, nah, Chris, I have to go forward. I'm like, hey, okay. And next thing you know, she's door knocking. She's getting listings. I'm like,
she came to call day,
right?
Yeah. We want her to come to more call days, Kiara.
We want all of your people, all of your team.
The first and the last Thursday every month, we need to see you there because there's certain things that you can learn, and there's also certain things that you can teach because you've got a fire in there. If you guys don't know Kiara, check her out at Kia KIA _realtor on TikTok. She's firing up the platform there. Lots of information, lots of just solds, her experiences in the business. So check her out. So that's good. You've got Kiara. Who else you got?
I got Marilyn Claiborne. She's super new to the team. Really, she came because of Kiara. I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's great.
She came because of Kiara.
How do you feel about bringing on a brand new agent versus an agent that's been in it?
Good question, man. Oh, it's mixed feelings. You don't have to hold their hand as much, but it's certain things I tell them to do that I wish I would have done when I started. So I do like that when somebody's fresh. It takes me back to the barbershop.
They've got to unlearn bad habits.
Yeah,
right?
when a person's coming from a different barbershop, they got bad habits. They bring it into your shop.
Yeah.
If you're getting somebody like off the streets, you can kind of groom them to, hey, this is how I want things done. I want a family atmosphere, not the typical, barbershop. So,
and just to pause, Chris, right there. For some of you guys who are listening, you're like, why does Chris keep talking about a barbershop? Is that like a code name or something? Chris runs an upscale barbershop here in Central Virginia. So
Razor Sharp.
So if you need a fresh cut, feel free to reach out to Chris Haskins at Razor Sharp.
I'm not cutting.
He's not cutting anymore, but little Chris is there. Little Chris is there. Fade out Mike's bald spot.
Mike needs some help over there.
So what's the address for Razor?
115 Bolingbrook Street.
Bolingbrook.
Yep, Petersburg, Virginia.
He's a business owner, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we're kind of like touching on. One of the things I think that's really awesome about Chris is that he's like tapping his team into not just what he's doing, but just what our entire network is doing. So, and as we tell people, if you're living in Central Virginia, whether you're on our BRRRR team, whether you're with anything, we have a call day. There's going to be role playing. Chris was instrumental in being with that this last Thursday. That last Thursday was probably the best role or the call play call day we've had because we had Daniel Harnsberg in there, we had Ray Revere of the Revere Group in there, we had Eric Walker of the Walker Group in there, and everyone's like chipping in their different. So if you're new on these teams, we encourage Kiara, Marilyn, all these ones, even Tracy, to come and join in on those. This is great training that will help sharpen you up through your experience.
And if you're not in our network, you can still come to our call days.
Come on by.
If you're local, we have agents all the time that stop by just to hang out. And
We've had people who don't even have their license yet pop in.
That's true. Multiple people.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm thinking about getting in the business. I want to experience this. And I got a DM from a guy yesterday. He sat in maybe a couple months ago, and he was like, "Hey, Galen, hey, I'm just I'm in Florida. I'm coming back. I'm going to take my real estate license test." He was like, "Who should I put as my sponsoring brokerage?" And I gave him all the right answers to that. But I mean, a lot of that has to do with like when they meet the team. They
was that
see
the guy that
network.
I met at the bar?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
That kid there.
I bet you gave him your name, didn't you?
Of course I did. Just told him to come on.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so it's awesome to see that Tracy Jones, she's been in there. Her brother's got a real estate background.
Yep.
Jonesy's been in the business. How many rentals do you think Jonesy's got?
I don't know. He's the one that really pushed me off the ledge to get rentals.
And now his wife just got her real estate license, right? And so she'll be selling.
Is she with
flips.
us?
Yeah, she's with EXP. Yeah.
Under you?
Mm-hmm.
That's on your team?
She's not on my team.
But you got her. When did that happen?
Like I said, I always.
When did that happen?
When did it happen?
Like when did you?
9 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's had the license for a while.
Yep. And see, Marilyn, she really came from a brokerage
Gotta watch
that
this.
really shut down. I mean, she was like, I need to go
So much
somewhere.
noise.
Hey, what
You
we
watch
talking about?
No, I'm him banging the things in the mic.
He's really sensitive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, everybody's gonna just hear coffee.
Editing nightmare.
Yeah, I was going to say everybody's gonna hear coffee cups.
Well, it's not like the
slamming
editing
entire-
is cheap, so I think they should be able to fix it up.
What are we paying for?
My team, Marilyn is super new.
Okay.
She came from a brokerage. She never even did a deal before. So I was kind of hype about that.
No, that's
So
awesome.
She has one under contract.
Nice.
That's my mission. Like
How long did it take her to get that first one?
Oh, a month, maybe 2.
See, I think
Teams,
I think
man.
That's good.
I think most people need a team.
Yeah.
Nah,
So-
I respect that. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the last things that how are we looking on time?
We got 10 minutes, 9 minutes.
Yeah, because one of the things we were talking about, Chris, what is your viewpoint of the 2023 market? I mean, we hear all there's no shortage of talking heads and naysayers, and there's people who are like overly positive. What do you think 2023 is going to look like?
Man, you know,
From a veteran like yourself.
I'm not a veteran. You know?
When did you buy your first flip? 2000.
Oh, well, that's different, you know.
That's a real estate veteran.
That's
You've
different.
seen the markets. You've seen shifts.
You know, being a realtor though is to me is a little different.
We're talking
than
about the
being an
market,
investor.
baby.
But the market, you know, as a realtor, an investor, yes, I think it's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah, I think it's great. Now, in a realtor, me, you know, finding people to find a home, should you sell a home, and I'm honest with people. Like I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, this might not be a good time to move. If you're just talking about moving across town for another house, your rate that you have, I mean, keep it. It just depends on a person's situation. I'm gonna be very
I think
honest.
if you can afford it, you move, and then you just refinance in a year or two.
You can do that. But sometimes, see, that's what I like to debate with you about. See, sometimes it makes sense to say, just keep that 2-point-something%. Your kids are 17, 18, they're going to be leaving soon.
But I think it depends on finances.
Yeah,
like
it
I have
depends on
somebody right
finance.
now that had a $200,000 house that they bought a few years ago. It's worth
Okay.
probably $265 now. They really want to move, but the rates being so high, income really hasn't changed for them, so they'd have to move into a $225,000 house right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But if you're in a $300,000 house and you got kids and you want a $700,000 house, the real question to me is, can you afford it?
Yeah.
And if you can afford it without stretching your finances, just do it and then refinance later.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you need another house or do you not need another house?
It depends on your situation.
Because I mean, in your example, like they're 17 and 18, so obviously they're leaving. But there's a ton of people who are not in that, where they're just like busting at the seams. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
You know, they're,
If you
they're
need to
7
move.
and 8.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you don't need to move, sure. But if you need to move, I don't.
If you don't
think
need to move,
that-
don't move at all ever. That's
I mean, but that's the thing is like if you can't move and you don't have the financial ability, then don't do it. But for a lot of people, they're just waiting for something better, and I don't know if something better is ever going to come.
Yeah, for those who's waiting for the race to drop, and I'm not a fan of that. It was your why. What do you need to?
this guy noisemaker over here. So, Jerry, what is your? I mean, do you agree? You know, what's your outlook for 2023?
I think 2023 we're going to have a slowdown in sales over last year, but I think it's still going to be up overall. I just think last year was crazy.
Yeah.
So I think sales-wise, I guess will drop 15%. I think values may drop 5%, but I think only 5% over the insanity. Like, there's some neighborhoods where people were just bidding like 80 to 100,000 over on stuff and waiving all appraisals.
Yeah.
And I think your stuff that will pop up on the market, they're gonna want that price, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh, it was 400, we paid 500." Something else pops up in the neighborhood. They're like, "Let's ask 500 to 515." Realistically, do I think that house is gonna go back to 400? No, but maybe it sells for 480. Is that really? Is that really a big deal? Not really.
Yeah.
So I think
things are still going to move.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do.
Things moving, and what I was studying, the beginning of 2022 to June of 2022, it was like a 17% increase in our MLS.
Yeah.
And then it dipped down like 9% by December, but it's still an increase.
Yeah.
I still feel like stuff is going to still increase, and people saying I'm going to wait till the rates go down, but guess what? Equity is still going to be growing. I don't see a 07 crash.
Well, we don't reach a buyer's market until we have 6 months of inventory. And how much inventory do we have right now? Probably a month and a
yeah,
half,
it's still
maybe.
low.
Still super low. Now, again, last year there was like 2 weeks worth of inventory, but every realtor wanted to blow their brains out. So
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me, like 2 months of inventory is sweet. You know, you're like, hey, we can go show houses.
You can exist,
Even
right?
now,
Yeah.
it's low enough where like I was supposed to show a house tomorrow that went on the market yesterday, and they canceled my showing this morning. We're like under contract. And you're like, well, dang, I don't want to go back to the point where a house gets listed on a Sunday and I have to stop what I'm doing to go show it in an hour so that I can get an offer in by Sunday night. That's super annoying to me.
Well, it's starting to normalize too. I'm gonna tell you, and the reason I say you said with Chris is real estate, an investor part versus being a realtor to me is different. Man, I got my license in 2019, so I was in the madness of 2020. That's what broke me in 2020.
Yeah, everybody's just going nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I had like 9 closings in 1 month. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, and with no TC,
money.
you know, with no transaction coordinator.
Bathing in hundreds.
I was catching up. But
Rolex, Bentley.
I wish.
Braces. He's a parent, so you're gonna have like braces, all the like parent stuff you gotta spend money on.
That's right.
Braces.
Yeah. Cars. Yeah. College funds. Braces.
That's the crazy
vacations.
thing,
graduation gifts.
No, that's very cool. Obviously, well, you know, Chris, it's awesome to have you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris was a guy who was just listening to the podcast, watching the YouTube show, and he said, I beg to differ. You might be that person too. Feel free to DM, email us at Galen and Jared at centralvarealty.com. If you've got a beef, if you have a question, you do not agree, we're happy to have you on the show and just to talk about your opinion as well.
And if you're not in the area, it's fine. We can use an app like Riverside to film a podcast. So even if you're in a different state and you're listening, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to see what you have that maybe you have to offer for the podcast for our listeners. And if there's anything that we can offer, maybe if you've got a podcast, we can maybe swap collaboration. Don't forget to like and
Need me to
subscribe
moderate it?
us. Chris, where do they find you for anybody that wants to look you up?
I mean, I always tell people to Google me.
Baby.
I got great Zillow views.
There you go.
Zillow.
If you're an agent and want to follow, do you want them to follow you on Instagram? If they want to reach
Instagram,
out,
Facebook.
What's your Insta?
What's my Insta?
That's what I'm looking up. I'm like,
He doesn't know his own Insta.
Don't.
Uh-oh.
I always send it.
I remember my first day in
just
the
send it.
business.
I send everything.
Chris Haskins _ realtor. If you are wanting to follow Big Chris on Instagram, he will be happy to. And he's doing his Instagram correctly, because sometimes we do audits on our agents' Instagrams, and it's like closing. It's really boring, and looks. But if you look at Chris, has got like videos, he's got tours, he's got awards assemblies, he's just got like a Denzel Washington like appeal and somebody. Look at this guy in like a tuxedo talking about focus. That's what we're talking about. The mindset. He's doing all of that stuff. So. Please like, follow, share Chris Haskins, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause.
All righty.
Appreciate
Thank you,
you
sir.
guys.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
visiting us. Thank you for watching Mega Real Estate Talk, rather. Mega Agent Academy is our YouTube channel. I always get it so confused.
Yeah,
too many
I know.
names and too many things. Follow us on YouTube, Mega Agent Academy. Subscribe here, Mega Real Estate Talk. If you want to find us, __ the Davis Group or your realtor's favorite realtor, RVA. Let us know how we can help you grow your business, and we appreciate you watching.
If you have a real estate question that you would like to ask Jared or Galen, reach out to them at jared@centralvarealty.com or Galen at centralvarealty.com. Who knows, it may even be featured on an upcoming episode.